All right, it is time to rank based only on what we have seen so far on the field. We started this a couple weeks ago with an excellent mailbag question asking us to do a top 5. We expanded it to a top 10. And I tell you what, it's going to keep moving around. And I had a tough choice in these, and we'll talk about it in a minute when I get to that point. But right now, we'll start at number 10. Number 10, the North Carolina Tar Heels. They're 4-0. That win against Minnesota kind of lost a little bit of its luster with Minnesota's loss to Northwestern. But North Carolina, 41-24 win at Pittsburgh, taking care of business. The Tar Heels, with the exception of an Appalachian State game, keep taking care of business. Drake May keeps making things look easy. So I'm happy to have them there for a little while. They're off this week. They got Syracuse after that, then the Miami game. Coincidentally, who's at number 9? The Miami Hurricanes. The Texas A&M win looks a little bit better because of what Texas A&M did to Auburn. That defense looked much improved, and that was what you're kind of wondering. Was it that Miami scored so much on A&M because Texas A&M's defense was bad, or because Miami's offense is now pretty good? I think based on what we've seen so far, Shannon Dawson, new offensive coordinator at the Hurricanes, getting it done. Tyler Van Dyke getting it done. Miami cruised to a 41-7 win against Temple. Their big game, big test, will be North Carolina on October 14th. They got to play Georgia Tech before that. Georgia Tech, by the way, just beat Wake Forest. So the ACC getting very interesting, getting very deep. I don't know if we're going to go that far yet. But it definitely feels more competitive in the ACC this year than it has in the past. Number 8, Oregon. The Ducks sent a message. You heard Dan Lanning early in the show. The game wasn't played in Hollywood. He said it was played on the grass. It wasn't actually played on grass either. It was played on artificial turf. But the Ducks absolutely showed how good they can be. They got Stanford this week. That's a game they should win. And then open date, and then Washington. That Oregon-Washington game, I don't know if it's going to be the best game in the Pac-12 all year because that league's loaded, but that's going to be a whole lot of fun because Oregon's defense looks like it might be able to slow down Washington a little bit, and Oregon's offense can certainly score on Washington. That could be one of the more entertaining. I don't know if it's going to be a shootout. Does it reach shootout levels, or the defense is good enough to keep it from reaching shootout levels? We'll got to wait. But number 7, I've got Washington. They jumped on Cal, cruised to a 59-32 win. You know, especially Michigan State, they lost against Maryland. That win for Washington doesn't exactly look as good. But here's the thing about Washington. Every win has been dominant. They have just steamrolled everybody they've played. How you win also matters. And it's not about running up the score, style points, that sort of thing. Is, do you make things look easy? Do you have an offense that just scores points without fits and starts? And that's Washington's. Washington's offense just rolls right now. Michael Penix Jr. and those receivers, it doesn't look like anybody's capable of slowing them down. Number 6, Duke. You saw the way Clemson played against Florida State. Duke beat that team 28-7. Duke went and hammered UConn. They destroyed the Northwestern team that beat Minnesota. Like, this is a good team. And so here's my issue. I wasn't sure if I should keep Notre Dame in this top 10 because they were essentially 1 yard worse than Ohio State. And so if I'm going to have Ohio State higher, which I am, shouldn't Notre Dame be right near them? And the answer is yes. The question is, do I need to put them there now? I don't know that I do because I've got Duke in here now. If Notre Dame goes to Durham and beats Duke, I'll just put Notre Dame in here. And I'll have probably a little better idea of where I should put them with that extra data point. So it's a tricky one because I've always been of the belief that if a team's ranked higher than you and you lose that team, you shouldn't drop out of a ranking, or you shouldn't, plummet into nothingness because you were supposed to lose to that team. If we're going by the actual poll rankings that take into account the preseason hype, Ohio State was supposed to beat Notre Dame. So should Notre Dame move? Probably not. There was 1 yard difference between these teams. But The good news is they'll play some more games and we'll have an idea of where to slot them. I've got Penn State at number 5. They absolutely demolished Iowa, held Iowa to 76 yards, only 4 first downs. And the passing numbers aren't statistically pretty for Drew Aller, but he threw 4 touchdown passes in a driving rainstorm against one of the best defenses in the country. I'm telling you right now, get excited, Penn State fans, because you got a quarterback who can do special things. You've got a defense that has some very special players. This is a team that can go win the Big Ten. This is a team that can beat Michigan. This is a team that can beat Ohio State. Whether they do that or not is another question, but they are going to be capable of it. They actually have to pull it off on game day. But Drew Aller makes this team look and feel very different. Number 4, Utah. You heard me talking about that Utah-Oregon State line. Vegas is saying this may be the end of the road for the Utes run. And really, with us not knowing when Cam Rising's coming back or what they'll look like with Cam Rising, it's hard to judge Utah. But we can judge them now based on the wins they've already secured. The win against Florida and the win against UCLA were very impressive. So we're going to say Utah's very good right now. I don't doubt their defense. Their defense is great. I'm worried about their offense. Nate Johnson has filled in admirably. Bryson Barnes, when he's been asked to, has filled in admirably. But I want to see Cam Rising. And obviously, he's coming off a torn ACL suffered in the Rose Bowl. So that's a long rehab. And they're not going to play him till he's ready, because you've seen the way Cam Rising plays. It's a style that is very damn the torpedoes. And so you got to be 100% if you're going to play that style. But I can't wait to see him, because I think that changes what Utah is. And Utah's already really good. Number 3, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They went to Notre Dame. They were up against the ropes. They had a minute 26 to go 65 yards, and they did it. That last drive was so impressive. Were there some vulnerabilities that may have been exposed that you would think Penn State or Michigan could take advantage of? Yeah, I think there were. But I also think that Ohio State's pass defense is significantly better than it was last year. And so this is a team that obviously, if all falls right, can compete for the national title. That we know. But they are going to be challenged again. It's not they're not prohibitively better than Penn State or Michigan. They're not prohibitively more talented. They are going to have to keep fighting for this. Number 2, the Texas Longhorns. Texas against Baylor was what it should have been, but what in recent years it wouldn't have been. This is not what Texas normally does. Texas went to Waco and beat Baylor 38-6. It was never close. It never felt in doubt. That's a big step forward for Texas. If they could do the same thing to Kansas this week, I think that is going to be a very, very telling thing, and probably means that Texas can handle Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. But they got to do it again. This is about the best Kansas team they're going to see for a long, long time. Well, they may never see Kansas again. They're not going to be in the same conference anymore. But Kansas is looking great under Lance Leipold, and Jalen Daniels is going to challenge any defense. But this Texas defense, I really like their front 7. I think they've got a bunch of dudes up front that make it very tough to do anything in the run game and make teams one-dimensional. I like Texas a lot. They might be able to jump to number 1, if not this week, after next week. Number 1, though, the Florida State Seminoles. Now, that win against LSU is what's really buoying them. But the way they played against Clemson, very impressive. Clemson clearly doesn't want to be done yet as a contender in the ACC for national titles. They've got some work that they've got to do in the offseason, but they're not done in the ACC. If they were to win the rest of their ACC games, there's a legitimate chance they see Florida State again in the ACC championship game. But again, the ACC has North Carolina. It has Miami. There's a lot left to play through. So Clemson is no guarantee to beat a team like Miami. We don't know that yet, but I thought Clemson played really well against Florida State, but Florida State found a way to win. And I think that's really important because That's part of this building process that Mike Norvell has been doing with that program. They maybe last year could not have won that game or would not have figured out how to do it. They did it this time. So right now, Florida State, your number one team in the resume ranking. I know what you're saying. Where's Georgia? Not there yet. They will have opportunities to get there. And I think, the game against South Carolina was a red flag. They beat UAB very soundly. If they beat Auburn very soundly, if they're just beating up on SEC teams going forward, they're going to come into this ranking. And there will be people who say, oh, they still hadn't played anybody. But yeah, how you win matters too. It's like Washington's a prime example. The teams they've beaten, not necessarily that great, but the way they've beaten them is incredibly impressive. So that's where you say, oh, well, does Georgia even have the schedule to get up into the top four? Yeah, they do. They have plenty of schedule to get into the top four if they win those games impressively. And so I go back to that video we saw that was released by the SEC network from the South Carolina halftime. That Georgia team, that one that's super calm, even though they're down 14-3 at half, that comes out and steamrolls them in the second half. Yeah, that team can still compete for the national title. So just because they're not here right now does not mean they won't be here later in the season. That's the thing about ranking teams this way. By the time you get to November, it starts to look like the AP poll or the coaches poll or the college football playoff selection committee rankings, because once all the data comes in, it all sort of works itself out. And plus, the teams that had a lot of preseason hype and didn't live up to it, they drop out as well. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.